voting began in Pennsylvania this week, and on Saturday it begins in Virginia. So I have written a column over at foxnews.com, and I'm making this monologue, which we'll put over at my YouTube channel, so that you can have in one place something to remind yourself as to why to vote for Donald Trump and Senator Vance. The former president is going to get my vote in Virginia as soon as I get to the in-person voting, which begins on Saturday morning, and I hope that you will do the same. I put all of the arguments in one place. Now, I know the odds favor the former president if you believe in Nate Silver. He's got him up 60% odds of winning, 40% odds of Kamala Harris. If you look at the national polls, Harris has got a slight lead. If you look at the state polls, they're tied. And if you look at the internal, Donald Trump's doing very well. The new Gallup poll is a stunner. The unfavorable rating among independents for Kamala Harris is 60%. She can't win with that number, and Gallup, of course, is the gold standard. So I made all my arguments against the backdrop of a pretty good feeling among Trump supporters, but it's going to be a roller coaster. It always is. I've done this many times. My first vote was in 1976, and believe me, there are very few blowouts. Very, very few blowouts, and when they occur, you don't even know that they're going to occur, with the exception of 2008, when we all knew that President Obama was going to become President Obama. They don't look like a blowout until the day after. So I wanted all of the arguments. You have to persuade people, not just tell them vote for X or vote for Y. I want to persuade you why you should vote for Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. And it really begins. And my emphasis is on, in my column, the fact that you don't only elect Donald Trump and J.D. Vance or Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. You elect 3,000 people. The most important of those 3,000 people, they're political appointees. They bring 3,000 people with them. The most important of those people are the national security team. Right now it's Joe Biden, Tony Blinken, and Jake Sullivan, and they've been a disaster for the world. It's going to be, if it's Donald Trump, we know what his national security team was at the end of his first term. It was Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, National Security Advisor Robert C. O'Brien, Director of National Intelligence John Radcliffe. Rick Grinnell had been there almost the entire time. He left at the end of the administration to go over and work on the Trump campaign, but serious people doing serious things. He didn't always hit a home run, but he batted over 600 when it came to appointees. We don't know anything about Kamala Harris's national security people, except her national security advisor to the vice president, a man named Philip Gordon, about whom I've heard very troubling things.